Hey YouTube, this is Dan with SC Bushcraft, coming back with part 4 of our mental aspect of survival, true preparedness series. In this video I want to talk about preparing for the reactions of others in a survival situation. And you know, it's a lot of our focus about personally being prepared. A lot of the survival training in the school of thought that we practice is, you know, one person lost in the wilderness or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's where it all starts. It all starts with you, but you might very well not be alone if a survival situation should arise. Your family might be there, your friends, your loved ones, and you know, if you live in a populated area, your neighbors and the people down the street, and you know, the people from the next block over, they're going to be right in it along with you if there's, say, a natural disaster or some other, you know, calamity like that that sweeps everybody up. And if we're just thinking about us, then we're really not prepared, because all those other people are going to have reactions, and they're going to have, you know, their own way of dealing with having their comfort zone taken away and being thrown into survival. I guess we'll start by talking about your family or your loved ones, not necessarily, you know, just your family, but the people that you trust and the people that trust you, and the people that, you know, you're going to look out for them, they're going to look out for you as best as y'all can do that. A lot of those people might not be as prepared as you are. They might not take this seriously. You know, they might very well fly into panic, or they might give up, or a lot of other things like that. And because you love those people, you have to be mentally prepared to remain calm and to carry the load for those people that are not prepared in your, you know, in your circle, and try to lift them up. And I think a lot of that starts out with helping them to get prepared beforehand, before anything's likely to happen. And you know, maybe they're interested in it, maybe they aren't. But it's really important to, you know, to do your best, especially your immediate family, your significant other, your children, you know, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, things like that. That, you know, you do your best to help them to see the value of learning these things before they're needed. You know, survival and bushcraft skills, and you know, as well as you know, just thinking about the concept that something might ever happen at all. I think really the enemy of that a lot is fear and the media portrayal of survivalists. I don't like the word survivalist. I don't like the associations that go along with that, as far as what the media has chosen to portray being, you know, just a small fringe element of the survival community. And you know, as soon as you say survival or survivalist, everybody just thinks about somebody in a bunker full of guns plotting to overthrow the government. And you know, we need to disassociate ourselves with that if we want people to listen to us or take us seriously. So, you know, to get away from that, and to get away from the fearful doomsday mentality, when we're talking to other people about this, it's important first off that we're not fearful ourselves. And you know, aside from, you know, the other people, if you're fearful, then you've already lost the battle anyway. But we need to project peace and confidence when we talk about this. And also, we need to present realistic reasons why it's important to learn these things. You know, there's a whole broad spectrum of things that could happen that could create a survival scenario, you know, just in your little microcosm of the world. And you know, there's other things that could create a survival scenario for a whole region or a whole country. And you know, everyone's on here getting prepared for a reason. You know, whatever it is that you're getting prepared for, when you present it to people, present it in a reasonable manner, and present it in a calm and peaceful fashion. You know, it could go from, you know, hey, you could break down in your car somewhere, and you know, it could be snowing, could be extreme heat, extreme cold. You might be far away from civilization. What would you do? You know, or on the other side of the coin, you know, if you really have a more dire view of what you're getting prepared for, you know, our economy, anywhere you live in the world, you could say this, not just America, our economy is on the verge of falling apart. And, it might turn around, it might not. What would you do if the money in your wallet and the money in your bank account suddenly became worthless, and all the ramifications that would go along with that happening to everybody at once? You could, whatever side of the gamut that you're on, whatever it is you're preparing for, you could just present it calmly and reasonably and realistically, and there doesn't need to be the feeling in it when you talk to people that, well, hey, I think this is going to happen tomorrow and we better get ready right now. If you're not prepared, if they're not prepared, and if it is going to happen tomorrow, you're out of luck as it is, and you wasted today thinking about that. So you're one more day behind that you spent today thinking about tomorrow. And other people pick up on those things. Other people pick up on where your head is at and where your heart is at when you talk to them. So that's really the most important thing, I think, above all, is trying to get the others around you prepared before something could happen. And also, especially if you have children, your children are not going to be prepared, beyond whatever age level that they're at. And you have to be prepared for the fact that they're going to cry, they're going to be upset, they are not going to be contributing members of the group, but they still need to be fed, they still need to be kept warm, they still need water. You're going to do all those things because you love them. Think about the ramifications and the complications that come along with, however many extra mouths to feed and people to clothe and people to give water to that are not able to contribute anything. I really think it's important that we prepare for our children. They can't prepare themselves. We need to prepare for our children and on their behalf to have things to make their lives more comfortable and to make their lives as regulated and as calm and as peaceful as can be during a survival scenario. Think about even just the little things. If you've got an EDC bag that you carry in your car when you go places, stick some coloring books and some crayons in there, or whatever is age appropriate for your children. Maybe put some Capri Sun drinks in there for them or something like that. Or I'm not trying to endorse that brand, that's just the one that we give to our kids. Maybe put a couple of candy bars in there or something like that. Just something to give them, to give their little minds a sense of normalcy and take away that dread and that horror from them of whatever it is that might happen. And we'll talk about your significant other as well. You might be prepared and they might be prepared to the utmost that both of you could be, but you're still going to have strengths and weaknesses and need to balance each other out and shoulder the part of the load that you're better at carrying. And selfishness, or a thought that, well, they should be able to do what I can do, those kind of thoughts, as much as we don't want to have those kind of thoughts in our mind, if we're not careful and we haven't already rooted that kind of thinking out of ourselves, those kind of thoughts creep up when you get under pressure. You get under pressure and that sense of fairness comes in and all that other stuff. Well, I'll tell you right now, life is extremely unfair. And you love your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever it is, and you're with them for a reason. They're with you for a reason. And don't forget that if a survival situation should arise, and let conflict arise between the two of you, because if you have conflict, you've got bitterness and chaos and arguments and stuff like that on top of that other situation that's already going on. Once again, you just cut the legs out from under yourself, and your chances of survival are slim at that point. If people start to panic, people start to bicker, people start to behave selfishly, then you might as well just throw it all out the window and forget about it at that point. As long as everyone's not doing it, even if you're the only one that's calm, if you're the only one that's thinking about the big picture, cement that in your mind that somebody has to do that. And if no one else is going to do it, it's got to be you. I guess also I want to talk about the reactions of people that might not be your friends, people that you might not love, people that might not love you, people that don't care about you at all. Those people are going to probably fall into one of three categories. Either they're going to make their own way, that's the least likely. They're going to come up and ask you for help, which you may or may not have to give. That's probably the most likely. And then in between is the person that is going to attempt to do violence towards you and take what you have away so that they can have it. They're not going to bother with asking for help. I really think that Hurricane Katrina was a good example of just the animalistic nature that can come out of people when they're put under pressure, and when the rule of law is taken away, and when all the structures that keep the peace go away. We saw 95% of the people minding their own business, trying to help each other out and stay alive, and 5% of the people trying to stage a reign of terror over those other 95%. Unfortunately, the people that fall into that 5% category are usually already used to living a life of violence. They're probably already armed. They probably have hurt people before in their life. It's nothing new to them. And really all they were waiting for was just that law and order to be taken away to go and wreak havoc on everybody. So you got to think about, it doesn't take long when law and order goes away, and really when people start getting hungry and thirsty and cold and all those things, it really doesn't take long at all for those kind of people that are selfish and ignorant to just descend down to the lowest level of human nature. And you have to be prepared to deal with helping people that will receive help, that you're able to help, and trying your best to be unselfish and kind and caring to other people around you, and not exclude everybody when something like that happens, and just sit and isolate yourself. You might need their help as well. So if you isolate yourself and you sit locked up somewhere with your guns and your canned goods and your bottled water and your toilet paper or whatever, then you might not be able to do that alone with just you and maybe your significant other and your kids. You got to sleep sometimes, for one thing, and just the numbers would be against you in that situation as well. If you're thinking, I'm going to sit here and defend myself for however long, if a couple hundred people that really want to harm you come against you, it won't matter how well armed you are. I'm not picking on anyone by saying that. If you were far away from civilization, or else, you're friends with, everybody around you that lives around you and all, you might be able to do that and be safe. But, if you do get discovered, wherever your hiding place is, that you're going to lock yourself away and sit things out, if you get discovered by the wrong people and they bring their friends, unless you have a crew-served .50 caliber machine gun and thousands of rounds of ammunition, you're not going to do much against a couple hundred people. And say you did have all that, would you really want to live with it on your conscience for the rest of your life that you killed all those people? Could you pull the trigger when the situation arose, in the first place? And would you want to live with it if you did? So, maybe it's a better idea to have as many people around you in that kind of a situation as possible. You know, if you're in an urban or a suburban environment, as many people that that you can trust, as many people as that aren't out to get you around. The more people there are, there's safety in numbers. Be a simple way to put it, I guess. So that isolationist mindset and that way of thinking about how you would deal with everybody else in the world outside of your circle might or might not be realistic for you. Might or might not really work. I guess I want to get through this mental aspect of survival and true preparedness series and get on to more skilled videos, more kit videos, and some more of the fun stuff and the exciting stuff. But I really think this topic is important enough that I want to get all these done, or at least the majority of these done, and probably be maybe 2 or 3 more before I put up any more of those other videos like that. I have a limited amount of time to make these videos, and I feel like this is the best investment of my time to talk about this right now. I really appreciate you watching, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for your suggestions, and if anyone has any ideas for anything else they would like to see a video made of, just let me know. Send me a PM or write it in the comments or something like that, and I'll try my best to get around to it as soon as I can. But thank you very much. Have a nice day.